back at Hello Presidente, it was finally time for me to pop my question. I put Boris's Caracas point to the man in red. Mr. President, lo siento, no habla español. The question is that we all know that Venezuela has given its oil to London. Some people in London think this is strange. For example, one of the Tories, a man called Boris Johnson, he's the guy who looks like a polar bear who's had an electric shock. Ah! That guy, he says that it's crazy, it's crackers, it's a joke in English, Caracas, crackers. He says it's crazy for Venezuela, which is poor, to give oil to London, which is rich. So the question, Mr. President, is this. Why is Venezuela giving its oil money to London? Shouldn't Venezuela spend its oil money in Venezuela on Venezuelans?
Es difícil entender la pregunta, ¿no? Así que yo no voy a responder lo que dice el oso polar loco, como tú lo has llamado. Yo no lo he llamado yo, él lo ha llamado así. Are you understanding me? Yes. Okay.
Why does Venezuela not spend its money in Venezuela?
Es una pregunta estúpida.
Es una pregunta
sí,
de
yo no
oposición en Londres.
Yo no voy a responder estupideces, porque terminaré siendo yo un estúpido también. Es decir, una pregunta totalmente estúpida, que no merece una respuesta, porque el que la responda, el que trate de responderla, termina siendo un estúpido también. ¿Eh?
But he did go on to answer the stupid question. He said that they got transport expertise, and anyway, it was right to help the poor everywhere, and that included London, and that took him 20 minutes. The countryside is in the grip of the Chavistan revolution too, so he went to take a look. And on the way, we stopped off at a cafe. And guess who was on the box?
Cotidianidades, un estudiante, un empresario, un ama de casa en Roma que lea todos los días, el loco Chavez. Venezuela se la está destruyendo.
On agriculture, the word from El Presidente is big landowners bad, cooperatives good. This farm used to be the property of a wealthy commercial farmer. The people took the land, and the cows are now milked by a socialist cooperative.
We have 120 milk cows. In all, we have 1,200 animals. We began with 100 cows in 2003.
The cooperative spokesman didn't have a good word to say about the old landowners.
Pero aquí, por ejemplo, venían ellos a beber whisky, a comer ternera.
They came here to drink whiskey and eat beef with the rich and government officials,
con la gente
the people with power.
Vamos a decirle, los ricos, pues. Los ricos y los de gobierno, los que mandaban, que así venía el gobernador.
They didn't want to farm the land. We were their workers. I was a laborer. I was a slave. The money we were paid was only enough to feed us. This is why there is so much poverty.
Y entonces por eso es que el estallido social, mucha pobreza.
The land reform rhetoric sounds great, but the evidence in front of our own eyes tells a different story. There is rather too much muck in the milking shed. This didn't look like a well-run farm. I go looking for the previous owner, who now works in an ironmonger's. So you had a big farm here, lots of cattle. Why are you now selling nails?
It was a military operation. I was taken prisoner with my workers and thrown off my land.
Rogelio says Chavistas stole his land, while the army looked on. Land reform doesn't sound quite so appealing if you're on the receiving end.
They took us from our home, my daughter, wife and me. We were beaten, and they were threatened with rape. This was the hardest moment for me.
Rogelio's fight to get his farm back went all the way up to Venezuela's Supreme Court. He won, but he still hasn't got his farm back, and not a penny in compensation.
What concerns me is that the government breaks its own rules. So how can I expect the court's ruling to be enforced? The government is supposed to be democratic, and you would expect the courts to work properly.
Regilio claims the co-op's milk production is way down. Chavez wants to nationalise a fifth of all farmland, ignoring the fact that co-ops farming seized land have been disastrous elsewhere in the world. Regilio did appeal to the governor of the province, but he got nowhere. That may have something to do with him being El Presidente's dad. Once upon a time, the Chavez family were dirt poor. Not anymore. Running Venezuela is a bit of a family business. One brother is education minister, a second is a banker who does business with the state, the old man's a governor, and brother Anibal is the mayor of their hometown, Sabanita. Nepotism? Or just good genes? People in Venezuela say the Chavez brothers have done very well out of the government. Hi, buenos dias. What did brother Anibal think? Tough questions first, as ever. First of all, how is the